You guys want to see a really cool pigeon impression? Ready? Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome back to The Wheel Life. My name is John, and on today's episode, I am going to show you how I can play video games with zero hand function. So without any further ado, let's get into it. Let's go. So growing up, I loved playing video games. I was a 90s kid. I remember my Super Nintendo, my Nintendo 64. I remember coming home from school and running to sit in front of the TV and crank away some hours as I popped open my juice box and played like Super Mario 64. I loved that game. I loved watching my sister play that game. I loved video games growing up as a kid. And after I got hurt, when I was 17 years old, I still loved playing video games. But one thing that I discovered was because of my lack of hand function, playing video games, I lost all of the enjoyment factor. And I think one of the best things about video games is that they offer like an escape, right? So instead of being able to sit in front of the TV and forget my problems and just play some video games for a few hours, it was really more of a source of frustration. So I would try here and there. I got some different adaptive equipment, and it never really worked right. But in the recent years, adaptive equipment for video gaming has come so far, really all thanks to Xbox and Microsoft. So huge shout out to them for realizing the void that was going on in the gaming world and providing equipment that I'm going to talk about today that filled that void. And it makes me feel like a kid again to sit in front of the TV and be able to play video games without wanting to take my controller and throw it through a window. So let's get into some tech talk over here. Like I said, Microsoft and Xbox have created an awesome adaptive controller, right? And that is what I have been using, the Microsoft adaptive controller for Xbox. And I have been playing with it for a few weeks now, and it is just so versatile. I can play literally any game I want. Because beforehand, when I would try to play video games, when I didn't have adaptive equipment, I was very limited to what I could play because I could only hit certain buttons. But as you will see, as I talk about in this video, this little white thing over here, you probably can't see it yet, but you will see it in a minute. It has all these different little ports that you can plug in other buttons to, so I can literally play any game I want. And that is just so much fun. I've been able to play with my nieces, my fiance. It's been a great time. I'm really grateful for Microsoft for breaking boundaries and getting adaptive people back in the game. So I am playing on an Xbox Series X. Took me forever to get one, by the way, but I got one and I'm so grateful that I did. And one thing that I noticed that's really cool that, I'm old school. My last PlayStation was like a PlayStation 2, so it wasn't very advanced, right? And so what I really like about this Xbox is that I can turn the system on by just pressing a button on the controller. I don't have to fiddle with buttons on the console itself. I can be on the couch, I can be a good bit away from the Xbox system itself, and all I have to do is push a button and it turns on. I think that's really cool. That might be old news to gamers in the century we live in now, but as someone who hasn't gamed in a long time, thought that was pretty sweet. So I got the Xbox all fired up. It's ready and raring to go. And one thing that's important to me is being able to be as independent as possible when I play my video games, because it's kind of a pain in the butt to want to play a game or something and have to wait on somebody to help me get the controller set up, to put it in my lap, and to get it all situated. So what's really cool is that my soon-to-be awesome father-in-law, Wayne, he bought me from Amazon this little TV tray. And it's so, it's very lightweight. It can hold my system on it. I can drag it across the floor by myself, and I can roll right under it without any restrictions and play my video games. And to me, this has really just enhanced the whole experience that gaming can bring. It's not a stressor to be like, oh, is anyone busy? Can they come help me? No, I can just roll in here all on my own, roll under my handy dandy little table, and get to gaming. All right, guys, so I am behind my setup now, and I'm gonna try to walk you through this. I really hope the camera can show you what I'm using to game with, because like I said, I'm home alone, and this might not be the best time to do this, but it's the time I got and the time we're gonna do. So like I said at the beginning of the video, I am using an Xbox adaptive controller, which is this white controller right here. So it's a box, it looks like this little rectangular box, and it has an A button, a B button right here. And that's great, that's awesome, but what's really cool is it can be used in combination with a standard Xbox controller. So what I do is I use them both. So I can use the joysticks with my palms. They're raised up a little bit. I got these little grippy things from Amazon. I'll link them in the description. And they raise your joysticks up a little bit, and that helps me to control everything a little better. And I hit the A button with my pinky knuckle right here. So I'm using both like that. But what really sets this apart and is so wonderful is that, see all these holes back here. You have X, Y, A, B, right trigger, left trigger. Logitech, it sells an adaptive controller kit. So what that does, it comes with like a whole ton of adaptive buttons that can be plugged into any spot in here. So you see over here, I've got buttons all over. I like the way they sound when I click them. It all depends on what style games you play. Like if you like first-person shooters, you will have a different setup than I do. But I grew up racing motocross, so one of my favorite games to play is motocross racing games. You know, it kind of brings me back to my teenage years, and it's relaxing to me, unless I lose and then I start screaming at the TV. Right, so I can use the joysticks in my palms, and anything else I need, I use these clickers over here. So I have some into the left trigger, the right bumper, and the left bumper, and those help me play my video game, which I'm going to show you right now how I do it. And I'm hoping, if all goes according to plan, up in the corner they will be the screen of my TV, so you can see what I'm doing as I play. So I am going to go to my game system. Where are you? Unless you guys just want to see me play Goat Simulator, because that game is wild. I love it though. Alright guys, so I am in MXGP 2019, and I'm going to take a quick little lap around and show you how I play this video game. So on this video game, for the gas button, I think it's the left trigger, and how I do that is I put this button into that hole, or it's the right trigger, whatever trigger, it doesn't really matter which one it is, but it's in one of these slots. And so I take that, I put it in my mouth. I put it in my mouth, and so this, see, that's my gas, right? And then this button over here is my clutch. And then I use these buttons to steer. So let's take a quick little lap around. And I use the A button on the pad for my brake. Alright, I just wanted to show you guys a quick little example of how I play video games, right? So that's how I play my racing game. I really like it, I really enjoy it. And so say I wanted to play like a first-person shooter like Call of Duty, you know, the buttons are similar, but I have the flexibility to move these switches all around to whatever suits my disability best, right? So that is really awesome, it's really cool, and I am really pumped about this whole system. I feel like I'm a teenager again, and it brings me so much joy. And you know, a lot of people don't realize that in hospitals now, in spinal cord units, video game therapy is becoming kind of a big deal, right? Because when you play video games, it helps you with your motor skills, it helps you with your balance, it helps you with your hand-eye coordination, it helps a whole bunch of things, and also can help with pain management. If I'm having a bad day and my pain's real up, I just want to come in here and just zone out for a minute and play my video game and relax, you know? And so it has a lot of benefits that a lot of people don't realize, and I think that's really cool. And I'm so pumped that Xbox put together this awesome package that allows us to game. And so I'm just so grateful for this setup. It's so cool. The table works wonderfully. Thank you, Wayne. And, you know, I hope other people will try some new things. You know, I all but gave up on gaming a long time ago, and I saw this system come out a few years ago, and I've had my eye on it, but I didn't think it would be really worth it for me, but I invested in it, and it's really awesome. I'm really grateful for it. So if you are a disabled person, you love to game, I encourage you to try this out. You know, like anything in the handicapped world, it is kind of pricey. It's like $100 for the adaptive controller, then like another 100 for all the buttons that come along with it, and not to mention the actual console itself. But once you have everything, you're pretty set to go, and there's not much more you really need to do. And for me, this works perfect. You know, it's kind of simple. It's not too bulky. I can keep it on this table. I can put it on my lap if I'm sitting on the couch. So yeah, that's my video. I just wanted to take you through a quick little run through of how I game without hand function. Are you a gamer? Do you like to game? What's your Xbox tag? Drop it down below, so maybe we can play a game together. You know, I like Red Dead Redemption, I like motocross games like Call of Duty, all these things. What are your games that you like to play? If this video added value to your life, if you learned something new today, give it a like, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel. I have another video coming up this week about, do I miss walking? It's kind of a heavy question, but we're going to talk about it. So I will see you soon. I hope you are staying safe, keeping the faith. Let's go. See you later.